When you poke your nose in matters where it doesn't belong, the nose stands at the risk of being pinched, clawed, or torn off. When you upset an area that is ruled by a kingdom and its unset rules, you invite anarchy. Obama did something like this roughly a decade back, and the region is still burning. And now his erstwhile vice president and currently the President of the United States, Joe Biden, is making a terrible mistake by trying to take down MBS. The cost of this mistake will be extremely high. Hi, I am Atul Mishra, and this is TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. And in this video, I will describe in details about US President's Saudi Arabian misadventures. The Biden administration is looking to reset ties with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The friendship between the US and Saudi Arabia had grown by leaps and bounds under President Trump's reign. In fact, Trump wanted to ensure that Saudi Arabia's regional policy towards Iran, Yemen, and Turkey is mirrored by America. In contrast, Joe Biden, during his campaign trail last year, had remarked that his administration would make the Saudis pay the price and make them, in fact, the pariah that they are. Now Biden is walking the talk, and the repercussions of the same can be devastating for the US. The Biden administration on Thursday will release what it calls a damning report proving the direct role that Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, or MBS, played in the brutal murder and dismemberment of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi back in 2018. The report, prepared largely by the CIA and produced by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, has been declassified and reviewed by Biden. The incriminatory report naming MBS as the main conspirator of the Khashoggi murder is bound to have detrimental consequences for America. Yet, it is the Biden administration's desperation that is leading it to self-destruct ties with the Saudis. It is, in fact, in line with the larger game plan of the deep state to mend ties with Iran, alienate Israel, and undermine Saudi Arabia's leadership of the Muslim world. The public release of the report comes as an added snub to the Saudi royal family by the White House, which had earlier said that Biden would speak to nobody from the royal family but the ailing 85-year-old King Salman alone. Biden seems adamant despite the fact that MBS has been widely accepted as the de facto ruler of the Islamic kingdom, with day-to-day decisions being taken by him and not his father. The Trump administration, being one which sided with sanity of sorts, communicated extensively with the Crown Prince. However, the 78-year-old Biden is adamant to speak only to King Salman solely for the purpose of telling MBS, whom the new US administration considers to be in power in Saudi Arabia. According to The Guardian, the Biden administration is getting calls by human rights activists and Saudi dissidents to strike a blow against Saudi human rights violations with new sanctions so as to send a strong message to the Saudi Crown Prince. Ironically, the septuagenarian probably never received any calls to condemn the atrocities against Uyghur Muslims, which the president dubbed as a cultural issue of sorts. Now, with the damning intelligence report being released, Biden is clearing the path for validating perpetually upcoming sanctions against the Crown Prince. Reportedly, the US sanctions could target the personal assets of MBS and also de-recognize him as the leader of the Saudi kingdom. To the same effect, last week, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said that the public disclosure of the report will be accompanied with further answers by the Biden administration. Nearly 3 weeks ago at the State Department, President Biden ordered an end to arms sales and other support to the Saudis for a war in Yemen that he called a humanitarian and strategic catastrophe. The Saudis have not been reacting much, but that does not mean they are not being angered by all the haphazard decisions of Joe Biden. In fact, the Saudis have a habit of reacting in the uncanniest of ways, which would worry the Americans to their bones. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is the de facto leader of the Muslim world, and Islamists around the world owe their allegiances not to their countries, but to Saudi Arabia. One would not want to irritate Islamists who can seamlessly indulge in acts of violence. Yet, Joe Biden, by raking up the Khashoggi murder and upping the ante against Saudi Arabia, is doing just that. As such, he is playing with the lives of Americans who might be targeted by Islamists indiscriminately. Biden will be well advised to keep his nose away from where it does not belong and not engage in a war his administration cannot win against Saudi Arabia.